Have you ever had a conversation with a person and you ask them, what their holiday is going to be like in 6 months' time, and they say something along the lines of, "Oh, I just see the blue skies and deep blue oceans, and I just see a beautiful hotel," and they tell us about the things that they see. Whereas you might have a more kinesthetic person, for example, who is going to go on to explain how this holiday is going to make them feel, what they're sensing. They might be a little bit apprehensive about going somewhere that they haven't been before, or they're massively excited. What I'm saying is, the way in which we represent our external world really influences our communications. And as hypnosis practitioners, this is one of the main ways through which we can gauge and begin to discern where it is that our clients are actually coming from, if that makes sense. When we understand how it is that our clients, or those other people that we're going to be influencing, internally represent their external worlds, we can begin influencing on a far more effective level by communicating in the most effective way that is going to enable our message to be received the way in which it's intended, if that makes sense. So, in this video, I want to share with you a very, very simple idea. And this is about creating channels of influence in the human mind. So if we want to create channels of influence in the human mind, we've got to understand, if you engage with rationally minded people on a rational level, all you can expect is a rational conversation, which might very well end up in who's right, who's wrong, a clash of perspectives. People will tell you all about what they think. I think this, I think that. You ask a person what their problem actually is, they're going to tell you all about what their problem, or what they think the problem is, not necessarily what it actually is. If you were to ask a person, say for example, a husband and wife, you were to ask the man, so tell me, what do you think is good about your marriage or your relationship? What do you think you're bringing to this relationship that's really serving your wife? There's a pretty good chance that the response that he gives is going to be very different than what the response would be if you were to ask his wife or partner the same or a similar question. What I'm saying here is that we all get trapped. We're all very, very capable of getting trapped in this. So as hypnosis practitioners, we never want to engage with people on a rational level. We want to stay completely free and away from this. We can engage with people on an emotional level if we want to. Now, this is historically what disciplines such as therapeutic counselling focused on, engaging with people on an emotional level. If we were to engage with an emotionally led person whilst focusing on their emotions in an emotional way, then guess what's going to happen? That's right, their emotions are most likely going to spiral completely out of control. Say, for example, if you were to have a conversation, maybe you've got a friend who struggles with depression or anxiety or stress or something like this, and then you were to ask them to focus right in on the feeling. If you were to ask them why they're feeling depressed or anxious or stressed or something like this, they're then going to start focusing inside of their mind and become completely entranced in focusing on this thing that they don't want, this thing that they're anxious about. And guess what that's going to do to the feeling? That's right, it's going to enhance the one feeling that they are doing their very, very best to get away from, the feeling that they don't want. So when we focus on emotions, we enhance them, which means that as hypnosis practitioners, our focus needs to be steering other people in a very different direction, towards what they know to be true. Because what a person thinks to be true and what a person feels is true is 99 times out of 100 very, very different from what they actually know to be true. The human mind has a fantastic ability to distort information in our life's events in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. We've got to understand this as hypnosis practitioners so that we better understand how to navigate our way through the complexities of people's thinking when we're faced with situations or circumstances in the helping relationship where people become a little bit trapped inside of their own minds. There's a fascinating saying that I managed to extract from quite an old article written by Mr. James Braid. Now, just in case you've never heard of James Braid, he has been referred to as one of the forefathers of hypnotherapy as an entire discipline. It's historically been decided that a gentleman named Franz Mesmer was one of the founding fathers of this entire way of thinking, but it was actually James Braid, a Scotsman, believe it or not, back in the 1840s who took the works of Mesmer and popularised them, if that makes sense. One of the sayings that he was respected for was that people will not care how much you know in life until they know how much you care. Now, if you think about one of the more popular ways that many helping professionals and practitioners today try to influence their clients, it's through rationally engaging with them on a rational level, trying to teach or teaching or correcting or challenging or proposing difference. Hypnosis is very, very different because we never want to engage with people on a rational or on an emotional level. Where our processes and techniques will ultimately lead our future clientele is into this place of knowingness, what people know to be true, because that is this kind of question mark. If you think, if you were to ask a person what they think about the new American presidency, they're going to most likely have an opinion. They're going to say, I think this and I think that and I agree with this and I disagree with that. If you were to ask then exactly the same people what they feel about the new American presidency, they're going to give a response based upon how they feel about the presidency. But if you were to then ask them what they actually know about the individuals that make up the American presidency, the response that you're then going to get is going to be very, very different. Because what we know is often 1,000,001 miles far removed, away from what we think and how we feel. What we think and how we feel is our internalized experience, but what we know is often going to be quite minimal by nature because we haven't yet sought to understand the people, the circumstances, the situations that we, until then, have been focusing on. You with me? So throughout the hypnotic process, when it comes to hypnotic inductions, what we never want to focus on is what our clients think or what they feel, because when we do this, we're just leading them into a spiral of further self-destruction, especially if they are caught or trapped in a pattern of unhelpful thinking or in a negative, undesired emotional state. You with me? The attitude that we want to take for our clients and towards our clients more than anything else is one where we're just simply seeking to understand them, not in an inquisitive way, not because we need to, but we need to create an environment where our clients are able to see and feel and sense that we are there 100% for them. We're here to understand them. We're not here to fix them. We're not here to heal them. We're not here to change them. We're not here to modify them. We're here to help them understand. And the only way that we're going to be able to help our clients understand themselves is if we're actually committed to the process of understanding them, which is ultimately going to inform our hypnotic practice.